Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Brian.
Morning, Brian.
Morning.
Good afternoon.
Eric.
Eric?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, that's all right.
Before you head it out.
Yeah. Well, probably would have come on.
Yes, yeah, but it kind of would have been like, what is this? It's supposed to come up, you know?
Right.
So, no, glad you said something, don't ever hesitate.
All right.
Want to make it right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Take care.
Yep.
Have a good week.
Yep, you too. Bye, Don.
Bye-bye.
Do we go ahead and call the meeting to order then?
We can.
Still waiting?
Well, we have a quorum, so we have six of the board members on.
So okay to call the meeting to order
You
then?
can. Yep.
Okay. And then Sue, I'll let you do the roll call, Sue.
Okay. Board Member Reister,
Present.
Board Member Doyle,
Present?
Board Member Springer,
Present.
Board Member Cease,
Present.
Board Member Wakeman.
Present?
We have Board Members DeVoe and DeVore are absent, and Chair Reagan.
Present. So we need a motion to accept the excuse absences of DeBoer and DeVore.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion is second. All those in favor, I'll let you do the roll call, Sue.
Okay, and who seconded that?
I did. Mike.
Mike? Okay, thank you.
Springer.
Yeah, so
All right.
have to,
Board Member Reister,
yeah, try to say your,
Board Member Doyle,
Yes.
Board Member Springer,
Yes.
Board Member Cease,
Yes.
Board Member Wakeman,
Yes.
and Chair Reagan.
yes. And next on the, need approval for, a motion for approval of the agenda. So we need a
So
motion
moved.
for that.
Eric?
You need, Eric, okay, is there a second?
Brian?
Okay, Brian seconded, and I'll let you do a roll call again, Sue.
Board Member Reister,
Aye.
Board Member Doyle,
Aye.
Board Member Springer,
Aye.
Board Member Cease,
Aye.
Board Member Wakeman,
Aye.
Board Members DeVoe, DeVore are absent, and Chair Reagan.
Yes. Approval of the minutes from the previous meeting from November 5. We need a motion to approve those.
Mike.
Mike made a motion. Is there a second?
Eric?
Eric made a second. Any changes or corrections on that? If not, I'll let you do a roll call again, Sue.
Okay, Board Member Reister,
Aye.
Board Member Doyle,
Aye.
Board Member Springer,
Aye.
Board Member Cease,
Aye.
Board Member Wakeman,
Aye.
Board Members DeVore and DeVoe are absent, and Chair Reagan.
Aye. Next on the agenda is treasurer's report.
Hi, you should have received a revised treasurer report momentarily, like about 5 minutes ago. Our current balance is $791,130.75. We're expected to receive an additional $80,000 from the winter tax collection and an additional $80,000 in industrial facility taxes that will be posted to this fiscal year. And I also included the AP listing from November if anyone has any questions.
Okay, any questions for Sue? Any other comments on that, Mike Burns?
Nope. Yeah, just the big expense, obviously, we'll make the bond payment in April and that's it.
Okay. Entertain a motion to report.
Brian?
Rita.
Hey, Brian made the motion. Is there a second?
Rita.
Eric?
Rita? And Sue, I'll let you do the
Okay, Board
Let you do
Member
the roll
Racer.
call.
Aye.
Sue.
Board Member Doyle,
Aye.
Board Member Springer,
Aye.
Board Member Cease,
Aye.
Board Member Wakeman,
Aye.
Board Member DeVore and DeVoe are absent, and Chair Reagan.
Aye. Public comments for items not on the agenda. Anybody join us for the Zoom meeting, Mike, that you're aware of from the
No,
public?
Jim, nobody on.
Okay. Update on old business at all on Amity Street?
Yeah, Amity Street, if you recall, last time I met with you, I told you there was an issue that we had to get some paperwork approved with the county for the CDBG grant, and was gonna push the project into not beginning until July. So we've completed all of that, and we do anticipate the project beginning after July 1. Dan, where are we at with the plans going out for bid?
They're being finalized right now, and there's hopefully we'll have them out by the end of the month is our goal.
Okay. So that's where we stand with that project at the moment.
How long will that one take?
As far as duration of the work, probably a couple months. It's basically a mill off the entire surface. There's a little bit of concrete work, and then put the surface back down. So I'm thinking probably 8 weeks or so.
Okay.
Try and get it done before school. There'll probably be some restoration work that'll have to be done once. school
That
starts.
was our goal, Mike, if you remember.
Right,
but
yeah, I know,
we
I
start
know.
July 1st now, so
Yeah, I know.
the idea was to start June 1st and be done by the end of August, so that's gonna get slid out a little bit.
Yeah, the restoration will probably be in September, October, beginning October.
Okay, any other comments on the business? I move on business, and I'll let you kind of take off from the street furniture.
Yeah, at the last DDA meeting, there was concern expressed regarding the benches, garbage cans, and repainting of the light poles. After discussions with the DPW director, both he and I believe it may be time to replace the benches, garbage cans, and to repaint the light poles. Many of the cans and benches are tired and need replacement. And my understanding is that they have been in place for approximately 15 to 20 years. Also, the light poles, if they're going to be painted, they should be fully painted either through a paint or a powder coat. This would be a maintenance item that should be done probably every 10 to 15 years anyway. And they are done through a special process. There's companies that will come out and they will go up and down the whole light pole and paint it, where our staff just can't do that. To do it properly. So we would like the DDA board to consider this in the upcoming budget for next fiscal year. We would consider expanding the number of benches and garbage cans in the district as the downtown has grown with the Superior building and improvements to the big boiler building. And we anticipate at this time, the total cost for this work anywhere in the range of $35,000 to $50,000. That being said, once we can get greater detail in regard to estimates, we will get more involved when we do the budget process this spring. This would be an eligible project by statute, as this is a public improvement project within the district. So I'm asking the board to see if they would be interested in considering this for next fiscal year. And if so,
Mike,
we'll
okay.
include in the budget.
Mike, I would split that into two things. I
Okay.
would put the poles into next year, but I think the benches and the trash cans, given the social, what's your, where you can drink outdoors,
Yep,
your upcoming thing, I think you're going to need them right away.
okay,
I would somehow get the benches and the trash cans into this year.
okay.
Get them out.
Which we can do because the Amity project is, for the most, that expense has really been pushed to next fiscal. So I mean, that's a lot, that's doable. I don't see that being a problem. And I can come back next month with more information. We can get you estimates for next month, and then we can implement it shortly thereafter.
State.
Okay.
board.
Hey, Mike, I had a short conversation with Todd Shaw. And you might want to talk to him. He has definitely some money saving ideas that could maybe stretch things even further and maybe even for less money. In his previous location in Grand Rapids, they did the same kind of thing. And, but just have a conversation with him before you get
Okay.
to.
Will do.
I have
And
a
I
question
did-
for you. I'm sorry. I have a question for you, Mike. In front of the building that I rent and in the next block, and it's probably the MDOT, but they're old concrete posts that they must have had signs on. Are they ever going to take those down?
Dan, do you know the answer to that?
No, let me check on them and see what they're all about and see what we can do with them.
Yeah, because
I'm not aware of them.
they're all rusty and they need to be painted and they're just sitting there and there's nothing there, just
Okay.
a post.
Okay. We'll check it out.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, we'll follow that recommendation that Rick suggested and
Yep.
we'll come back.
And I just have one comment on Todd too. He was out with a bucket of paint, painting some of the bases. And he did paint the clock too.
Yeah, we
So,
saw that.
Okay. I hope it was the right color and so, next, anything else for street furniture? If not, we'll move on to brick project.
Okay, as we all know, the Showboat is forging ahead and it's nearing construction completion. There has been a fundraising effort to raise a gap of approximately $870,000, and they are approximately $160,000 away from their goal. To date, no City of Lowell tax dollars have been utilized towards this project. One of the projects which has raised approximately $80,000 for the Showboat is the Brick Campaign project. These funds have been turned over for the city to complete the Showboat. I have had discussions with the Showboat Committee, the fundraising group tasked with the efforts, and the DDA is being asked to assist. While a portion of the proceeds for the bricks could go to pay for the bricks and to lay them out by the Showboat, the city is being asked to consider implementing this task. By doing so, it will allow all the proceeds from the brick project to go directly to the Showboat. The DPW director has begun estimating the cost to this. However, if this was something the DDA would consider doing, this could be added to the next fiscal year budget. Being this would be a public improvement in the downtown district, this would be an eligible expense. If there's interest in the DDA assisting with the brick project, we can provide better estimates and incorporate them into the upcoming budget.
Was your goal to not use city dollars?
Correct. It was the case.
So the DDA money is still city dollars.
I would agree. So yeah, there is that issue out there. I don't disagree. And you know, and they can use the proceeds. They can use the proceeds from the bricks to put it down, to put the bricks down, but that is money that goes away from the cost to complete the project. So
You got a ballpark for that cost to put the
Yeah.
brick down?
I gotta think no more than 20,000, Dan.
I was looking at about the 15 range, yeah, 15 to 20. Depending on how many bricks they sell.
When would it be?
Project, if we did it, we would incorporate it after July 1.
Next fiscal year.
Will we have a more firm number, maybe at the next meeting, if
We
somebody,
can.
at least
Yep,
this
we
is
can.
our, this is our, something that we can consider, and if somebody wants to make a motion, once we have maybe a more definitive number, then we can kind of consider that,
Sure.
Mike.
Sure.
Can I make a comment? Hello?
Sure.
Okay. I just wanted to add, the reason we thought about the DDA doing this is because, as you know, everything wears out and the Riverwalk Plaza is actually looking pretty shabby these days if you haven't taken a walk through it. So it's kind of like killing two birds with one stone. You know, you're improving the Riverwalk Plaza again and being able to put the bricks down at the same time. So I think when you consider it, you should take that into consideration.
Liz, where's the shabbiness? I walk it all the time. I see the barricades and the fences and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
The cement is starting to look pretty bad. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's heaving in spots, and the DDA or I think the DPW probably took it under their wing to scrape it and get rid of those trip hazards. So you have trip hazards that are coming up, and the bricks start to get shabby after a while, especially like around the chamber building. Unfortunately, the trees are beautiful, but the roots are pushing up the cement and things like that. So it's just over time, it starts to look not as good as it could.
Excuse me, the trees are also terribly overgrown, and it's like a dark canopy in there, and you can't walk through there without scraping, or at least I can't without scraping my head on branches.
Yeah, that probably, Todd, that's something that they try to address it every year, is trimming and pruning those trees up so that doesn't happen.
But it needs to be addressed. I agree with you, Liz. It doesn't look very sharp.
Just something you should look at. I mean, like you said, now's not a good time. I mean, everything's kind of under construction right now, but yeah.
I think the brick lane would be a nice gesture, you know, toward the showboat. It's not, you know, it's a donation in a different way, but it's it like Liz said, it might help get two birds, and a good gesture for the project.
Okay. Anything else for Mike on the brick project? You know, maybe if we got a more definitive number down as far as what it would cost, and also maybe talk about maybe if Dan could get, if we need to trim the trees back, or some of the other brick pavings that are down that need some maintenance, kind of get that all together so that we could kind of do it as in one project. With the trees, as much as overgrown as they are on those hot summer days, that's where everyone likes to sit and get the shade too.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, they're upheaving the sidewalks, but they do provide a lot of shade in those hot summer concerts when there's no wind or anything. So I don't think we need to cut them down, but you know, if we aggressively trim them and get them out of their way, that would be helpful, I think. So, and I don't know what's.
I don't want to see them cut down either, Jim. They're beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, so that's some food for thought for the board. I think maybe if we got some more definitive numbers and maybe some of the other brick pavers that need to be addressed, whether we need to do that in addition to the project, that's something that we can kind of consider once we have all the numbers. Okay. Anything else on the brick project? And then Mike, how about Valley Vista?
Yes, with the way municipalities and infrastructure projects are restricted in funding in Michigan, cities need to be creative with their funds to address the needs of our community. The city council has tasked me with two major tasks. First one is to generate as much revenue as I can, and secondly, fix as many streets as I can with the funds we have. Michigan, in comparison to other states, does not provide their municipalities much freedom to generate additional revenue to fund their needs, and when it is done, it is limited. With the potential for excise tax from adult use marijuana, this is really one of the only new revenue generators municipalities may have. One of the things I've attempted to do is stretch out as many road projects as I can with the revenue we have, and I'm going to continue to do that. In review of our streets, I am requesting the Downtown Development Authority to pave an additional street in either 2022 or 2023, based on the revenue we have on hand. A highly traveled street within the district, which is in need of maintenance, is Valley Vista Drive from Bowes Road to Deborah Drive. That is in the scope of the district. The street is in the DDA district and is an eligible project by statute, as this is a public improvement project within the district. We don't anticipate much underground work for this area. We have yet to complete an engineer's estimate on this. The length is similar to the 3 streets we completed this past year. I do have a better number from my memo. Dan was able to put the numbers together. We believe it's about $250,000 to complete. My thought after hearing that yesterday, my thought is this would be a project we would consider for fiscal year 2022, 2023. And I'd like the DDA to consider this project. And if there's support, I can come back with a more detailed engineer's estimate at a later date.
You want us to consider the whole thing or a portion or what?
Well, from Deborah Drive to Bowes, our thought process is we probably would at least go from Bowes to Sibley, because there's a portion from Deborah to Sibley that isn't in the DDA district, so we would use our Act 51 dollars for that. And then you could go all the way to Donna Drive on Valley Vista, but I don't think that's necessary at this time. I think that there's other streets in the neighborhood that could be addressed with our regular funds. But I would propose, if we did this, at least to Sibley.
Any ballpark figures?
Just for our portion, about $250,000.
Okay. Anything else on that? We don't need a motion at this point.
No, I just want to see if that's something we're willing to do. We're trying to knock out a number of streets here in the next couple of years. This coming up spring, we're going to do Amity and Jane Ellen Drive in Valley Vista subdivision. Our plan is next year, we're going to do Monroe. And then in 2023, our plan is to do Washington Street, which Monroe and Washington are going to be financed through a project through the USDA. But our plan is trying to get the cross streets between Monroe and Washington, from Fremont all the way to Main Street is what we're trying to accomplish. So when we go in and do that project, we're getting as much of that area as we can. And the nice thing is with the USDA funds, that because it's a water and sewer project, the water and sewer funds can actually, through the financing process, can pay for those streets, which in our street network, that's about really the only place we really can do it. So it knocks out a large number of streets. I mean, we still got a lot of streets we got to do, but it knocks out quite a bit. And what we're trying to do also, we're trying to spread it all over the city. So we're not like, there's always concern that east side of the river gets more stuff than the west side of the river. And what we've really tried to do is, as we do projects, kind of do them, hit each area as we go along. So not one area is getting overloaded. But with the water and utility project, it's going to get a lot of those streets done on the east side of the river. We recognize that.
Mike, since you mentioned the excise taxes, when's the expectation for that to start kicking in?
I'm starting to think, from what I've heard, maybe later in 2021 is when we'll start seeing it, is what I'm told. But the state hasn't, where the state actually projects for us what our gas tax and what our revenue sharing is through sales tax. They haven't done that yet with the excise tax. So I really don't know how much we're going to get. I'm a little bit more optimistic than I was maybe 2 years ago, revenue wise. I think it's between our pilot with Light and Power and this, I think it's going to be, I think it's, put it this way, I think I'm going to be able to subsidize a police officer with it, an additional police officer.
So does the DDA capture that?
No, well, the DDA captures the property taxes in the district because all of the properties that are eligible are in the DDA district. So you would capture the new value on the property value. But on the excise tax, no, the DDA does not capture the excise tax.
What is the 250?
Okay, I know.
For that period?
I'm sorry, what was that, Brian? I couldn't
What's
hear
the
you.
250,000 due to our budget for that period?
Well, if we budget it for 23, it's probably, depending on how our revenues come in, it's probably close to a third of our budget. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Your anticipation in our notes today says 100 to 150.
Correct. We've had a better estimate since I wrote the memo.
Okay.
Some of us would call that worse.
A more accurate estimate.
Okay.
What did we spend on Amity?
144,000 is budgeted. But the total project cost is 500,000.
Okay, any other questions for Mike? I think we have funded other projects in the past, and I'm all in favor of helping, the general fund in the streets if.
Jim froze up on mine.
Froze.
That's something that we can, anybody else have any input on that?
You need to repeat yourself, Jim. You froze up.
Okay. I think it's okay that, in the past, we have funded road projects as long as it's in a DDA district. So I'm not opposed to this at all. I think it's a good use of our DDA funds to kind of spread it where the city needs some help as far as the streets. So if we don't need any motions now, it's just something the board needs to consider as far as having that in a future budget.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking at this point. Don't need motions.
Okay, and then moving on to social district.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Michigan Liquor Control Commission has developed a special license creating social districts in the downtown district. This allows participating establishments within a designated district to sell their liquor products, and the purchaser can leave the premises into a designated area. There are a number of regulations which must be followed. That said, there are currently 23 communities statewide, including Rockford and Grand Rapids, whom allow this in their downtown. The city council has already approved to the initial resolution and district. One of the additional requirements is all interested entities must be approved by the city council, and we are in the process of doing that. We hope to have everything ready to begin for this in early February. The DDA is able to assist in funding for the zone. We have set up the district so all of the licensed establishments in the downtown could participate if they so choose. They would be required to get an additional liquor license allowing this. In addition, they are responsible for providing no more than a 16-ounce cup and marking the cup with their liquor license number. The patron could then go anywhere in the marked district except other liquor establishments with the drink. If it would be up to each individual business downtown if they would want patrons in their businesses with their containers. In addition, the city council has to approve rules and regulations for the district, and they have already done so. The components the city will need to address are security, trash pickup, signage delineating the district, and warming areas. While the entire district would essentially be the commons area, we are looking to having warming areas at and congregation areas at certain points. We are looking at closing Monroe Street between Main and the alley behind the north side buildings adjacent to it. We are also looking at a second location at the Riverwalk. We designated Broadway and Riverside to be closed in front of the entrances to the parking lot if there is demand. However, we are not planning this currently. I have estimates to cost for the following areas. For security, the social district will be open from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. We are planning to assign a part-time officer to the district on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 4 PM to 10 PM, on Saturday from 2 PM, so from 2 PM to 10 PM, and 12 PM to 8 PM on Sunday. We anticipate the costs through June 30th of 2021 will be $13,932.16 to assign a police officer to this. For DPW assistance, we will need to assign the weekend on-call person for trash pickup and possibly fill propane and heaters when necessary. To keep the costs down, we would try to assign this to a part-time employee. However, to be conservative, we would budget the cost of a full-time DPW employee at their overtime on-call rate. We anticipate the cost through June 30, 2021 to be $6,060.12. Warming areas. Due to the cold, it might be a good idea for warming areas. This is done in Rockford. However, they have firefighters on site overseeing the fires as they do open burning. Our fire chief would prefer us not to do this. He would prefer us to use propane tank heaters you would see at restaurants. We have found propane heaters on Amazon from $250 to $350 each. I would like to purchase 10 to 15 of these. I would budget no more than $5,000 for this. We would place these at Monroe and along the Riverwalk. They could be used for future winter events if needed as well. Signage. As part of the statute with those social distances, districts, we would need signage designating where the district ends. Rockford signage is very minimal. It's very small. So you don't have to have big elaborate signs for it. I would budget no more than $500 for this, and I don't believe it would even come close to that amount. Another item the DDA could participate with if they so choose is to purchase cups. Eventually, this would be a responsibility of the licensed premises, but maybe $500 to purchase some paper cups with the City of Lowell DDA branding and distribute them evenly to the participating entities if we so choose. To pay for this in our current budget, we won't be beginning construction on Amity until the next fiscal year, so we can take a portion of the costs for Amity and put it towards this. I anticipate the social district isn't going to go away for some time, and I would budget this in the upcoming fiscal year. We also will see a reduction in expenditures for this year's marketing, so we can put some funds from there towards this. I've reviewed these with the city attorney, and she believes this is an event in marketing to impact businesses in the Downtown Development Authority District. She believes all of these in the matter we've described are allowable expenditures in the DDA statute. So I don't know if anyone's been paying attention at City Council how we've designated the district, but we've designated it basically from Washington Street to where New Union is, and then up and down up the Riverwalk. So that's what the council's approved up to this point.
Your map looks like it quits just before New Union. Is that?
I know. So that one might have been we had Regis do the map. I do believe that this does still make New Union eligible because technically you have to be adjacent to the district to participate. So I do believe that this makes them eligible, but I have to probably clean the map up a little bit.
I think it's a great idea. I think people need it. They need to gather. I think it's a great idea. I don't know about the paper cups, but everything else. And hopefully they do buy paper and not plastic because they don't want to see it in the river.
Right. You can have plastic, but I hear what you're saying. That's why I know Rockford does paper.
Yeah, I agree with Brian. I think it's a great idea.
Anything we can do to help with their business side, especially in these days, I think it's a great idea. I have a couple concerns. Those heaters, I'm not sure if they're in an enclosed area, they work a lot better because they radiate out, but I don't think they are going to do anywhere near what an open fire does in Rockford.
I don't disagree with you. My research shows they only go about 200 square feet per propane heater. You know, in talking with the fire chief, if we did open burning like that, you know, we would have to pay to have firefighters tending the
Right.
fires.
Right.
Just like what Rockford does, but I know in talking with the fire chief, he really does not like the idea of open burning.
I agree.
What does New Union do? They got open burning over there.
Yeah, we've had to work with them on that
Oh,
quite a bit. There was actually a lot of time between me and the fire chief to make sure that they were in compliance. Because there are there's actually a number of issues with how they're doing that, but we were able to find a way within our city ordinance, but also in the Michigan Fire Code for them to do it the way they're doing it.
Have you looked at what the cost is for the LP gas for the heaters versus having fire staff it? I know Boswick Lake Inn is doing, everybody's doing the gas thing, and the cost to keep those things going is significant.
Okay.
I think it'd be cheaper, as Rick was saying, and probably more effective to have open burning versus constantly refilling the LP tanks.
Oh, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you there.
Hey, Mike, what about the new mall over by 131? They put in that really cool outdoor, it's gas fireplace, or looks like a burning pit.
You talking about Tanger Outlet?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I know that probably be way cost prohibitive, but I think they probably use natural gas for it too, right? Versus
Yeah,
LP.
I'd have to, my next door neighbor actually is the general manager out there, so I could ask him.
Yeah, I mean, even our fire shop here in town, he's very knowledgeable about those outdoor fire pits and stuff. I just wonder if you could do something like that and get away from those ugly little propane heaters too, and then they'd be
Put
more.
it this way, I'm not a fan of the propane heaters,
Yeah,
but I just wanted to accommodate the fire chief
right.
concerns. But
I
he
get it.
also said if we paid the fire department to do it, it could be done.
And it might be less cost by paying them rather than
I would agree.
for all that propane.
I would agree.
What would they use then? Did he say, Mike, if they use the outdoor fire pits? I mean, to use wood burning in it, would they have?
We would basically, what we'd have to do is we'd have to make sure we get licensed containers.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's gonna want to cover them some. But yeah, I know it can be done.
Okay. Well, don't forget, we have that really nice one that we bought for outside too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's quite large.
Okay.
So
Well, if
How fast do you think this is gonna, is this some food for thought, or are we thinking of
no,
getting a motion?
I'm hoping we're ready to go in February.
Okay. So you'd like a motion to kind of get the ball rolling?
Yeah, and maybe what we do is even though I think I'm going to investigate, it sounds to me like the board would like me to investigate further the cost for the open burning. And maybe what we do is we keep the cost for the propane that we had set for the propane, but use that money towards the open burning. It probably would be cheaper. And if there's an issue, I can come back.
so what's the
Okay.
total dollars you're looking for?
Hang on, I did the numbers. I knew you were gonna ask that.
$6,000, something like that.
Was that the 13,932 number?
Yeah, I got 26,000 total,
Including cups.
correct.
I question whether one part-time officer is gonna cover all this ground. And I'm hoping we
Yeah,
don't.
well,
have-
you're always gonna have an officer on patrol, and then on Fridays and Saturdays, you're always gonna have two. So you're one officer is really more just for it's more for PR and presence than anything else. You're right, the officer can't be everywhere, but if something were to happen, we would have, depending on the time of day, especially on the weekends, we would have up to 3 officers immediately in the area by doing this.
We're covering a lot bigger territory than Rockford does, and I just,
Yeah.
I surely hope we don't have stupid instances of intoxication.
I would hope not either. In
Concern
fact,
is over the
police
river.
chief- the police chief and I've talked about this. He was the first person when this came, when this really became present, the first person I talked to was the chief of police. And he didn't really think this was going to be that much of an issue with open intox and, too much of that. He didn't see that as an issue. I mean, we've had concerts in the parks for years and it's never been a problem. He didn't see it as an issue, but he was the first one I obviously talked to because that was the first thing that came into my head too. So.
You weren't here when the drunks were jumping off the showboat.
Stop it, Brian.
What?
Yeah, it wasn't the show. Well, maybe it was.
Is that a confession?
Well, I was gonna say too, we really do have a good track record when it comes to the summer concerts and Riverwalk Festival. I mean, there's plenty of say booze flowing, and we do have a good reputation with that. But I was also going to point out, I believe, Mike, that the restaurants or the bars that are serving these people have to follow the same rules as with inside, and they have to look at the people they're serving and know if they're intoxicated or not.
Yeah, the only difference is once they serve them, their liability ends once they leave the door with the drink. However, if they don't, if somebody's coming in loaded, they can't serve them. I mean, it's just like they would in any other scenario.
Yeah.
So hopefully that, situation.
You don't think the 26, you think we've got the cash for it?
We do. Because we're not doing Amity right now, we can push Amity to next year. We do.
I'm going to move it.
Yeah, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second. Mike,
Okay, any further? Mike Springer, any further discussion? Sue, I'll let you do the roll call.
Board Member Reister,
Aye.
Board Member Doyle,
Aye.
Board Member Springer,
aye.
Board Member Cease. Board Member Cease,
Aye.
okay. Board Member Wakeman
Aye.
and Board Members DeVore and DeVoe are absent, and Chair Reagan.
Aye. Okay. Okay, Mike, got some homework to do.
Yep.
Okay, anything else as far as new business? If
Just
not,
the
we'll
only
move
thing that
on
you need-
to reports and member.
Yeah, just real quick, something you need to
Go ahead.
know. As y'all know, Don DeJong did a lot of the work in the downtown district, and he retired about a year and a half ago. For the last year and a half, we have not filled the position. We had 3 unbudgeted positions in the DPW that we couldn't fill, mainly because we had an open contract and we needed to resolve some retirement issues before we could hire people on. I'm pleased to say that we've settled that contract. And what we've also done is we have hired one full-time position already. You might know the guy. His name's Jeff Phillips. He used to be on city council. He's working in the DPW, but we're still looking to fill the Sexton downtown position. And we did interview a candidate and actually offered him the position, but he didn't take it. But Dan is still working on that. So hopefully we get that position in soon, and then we can get more of a dedicated person into the downtown, and then obviously the downtown grounds and then the cemetery area. So we're working on that. But that's all I have.
Okay. Any other reports or member comments?
Did we have any more that we needed to hear from Todd on the subject that we discussed before he got on? Or was
I
that,
don't know what was discussed. That truthfully was my interest though. So yeah, my experience on the light poles, just briefly, is 1/4 paint will do 2 poles, and I painted 12, probably got less than $100 in it. I painted it as high as I could reach. I used to have an office across from Amway Grand downtown. I know the general manager there and know what they do, and they paint the stuff in front of their place black as well with gloss, and they do it once a year and always looks sharp. They don't do it every 5 years type thing because that doesn't get it done. It doesn't cost so much to keep it looking sharp. The red trash receptacles, I painted the tops of those up and down Main Street. Didn't have the time to get the rest of it done, but that was probably $20, and there's not a lot of money or effort to keep everything looking sharp. The benches, be nice if someday those were composite benches. Until then, I think if they're just pressure washed and painted, those will look good. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth.
Okay. We did address that earlier, Todd, so I'll let maybe Mike Burns fill you in on what we kind of decided on, okay? And, you know, your input is much appreciated too.
We were gonna reach out to you, Todd.
Okay. Anything else from
All
the
right.
board member?
Thank you.
Okay. I just had 3 things, Mike. Okay.
Okay.
I just want to let the board know, if you got a chance to read the ledger last week, they had kind of a synopsis of the DDA's inception since '92, so you can get an old copy of the ledger and read that. It was pretty accurate, except that it had Jim Doyle as one of the board members. Second thing was, as far as the Christmas decorations, I know they came down kind of fast, so I was wondering if maybe we could leave them up till after New Year's, maybe even the first week of January. And then the third thing was, you know, when we're ripping up some of the streets, is there any consideration? I know some of these that you're talking about are residential, but anytime you go underground, is there any consideration put as far as Comcast or any infrastructure that they can put underground? Because I know this with the Zoom meetings and the schools, anything that we can do to improve the internet access for the neighborhoods, whether it's residential or commercial, I think would be beneficial. And I would hope that, you know, we kind of look at that, any projects that we do, whether it's Amity or any place downtown, I think would be helpful to, I don't know if you already do that, but I'm just, I think it's really important to kind of going forward, keep that
Yeah,
in
we do.
the forefront of our thoughts.
Yeah, we do. Anytime we do
Okay.
anytime we do a street project, one of the things we always do is we reach out to all the utilities and let them know we're doing the project. And if they want to do something, now's the time, because it's our biggest frustration when you do a street and then 3 years later you're ripping it out because somebody, you know, consumers or whatever, they need to put a new line in. And it's, so Dan is very Dan and I both, we're very adamant that when we do these projects, that's always being taken into account. In regards to the Christmas lights now, I don't think our staff does it. I believe Light and Power does that, correct? Dan?
No,
Our staff does it?
So we do a few things, but not very much. They're taking down a few decorations today, but all the other ones on the poles and such, no, we do not do that.
Okay.
Yep. We, that's contracted every year. You got, the DDA does pay for it. So Jim, I am surprised. I thought they took it down after New Year's, but are you saying that they came down earlier?
I didn't see him. Becky said that they came down awful quick. So
Oh.
it might have been after New Year's.
Yeah, because that's normally when they do it. They normally, I always say they appear. They're like the little elves in the night. They appear and then they disappear. And I kind of watch for that. And I actually had been off for a couple weeks, but came back to work on the 4th and had been back in town a couple times before that and thought they were there, but thought they were not there on the 4th. So I will double
Okay.
check with them and make sure.
Okay. Yeah, just for next year, just to
Yeah,
consider anyway.
sure. Absolutely.
Anything else from the board? If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Rita,
Eric,
Okay, Eric, is there a second?
Rita,
Need a second. Rita?
yep.
Okay.
Susie, I think you need to do a roll call.
Okay. Board Member Reister,
Aye.
Board Member Doyle,
Aye.
Board Member Springer,
Aye.
Board Member Cease,
Aye.
Board Member Wakeman,
aye.
Board Members DeVore and DeVoe are absent, and Chair Reagan.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
See you later,
Yeah.
everyone.
Good one.
Thanks a
Bye-bye.
lot.
Okay.
Have a great day, everybody.